Hey everybody, if you've never mounted a red dot adapter plate on a Sig Mosquito or GSG Firefly, you're in the right place. Installing a red dot adapter plate is pretty straightforward when you know how. In this video, I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how to successfully install one of our adapter plates on your gun. The gun that we're using today has a carbon fiber wrap because it goes fast. First, we're going to make sure the gun is unloaded, safety first, and remove the slide from the frame. So you spin the little takedown pin here, push the slide back, pop up on the back, and then slowly slide it forward. Hopefully your springs don't go flying out of here, and we're going to set the frame aside for now, and we're just going to be working on the slide. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the right-hand side on the Ambi paddle. There's a 2mm screw. You use a 2mm hex wrench. And let's crack that loose and spin it on. I use a thin piece of plastic to get underneath it. Crack it up a little bit. And I use an armorer's tool to pop it off the rest of the way. We'll put those off to the side and dish. So I'll take my tactical anti-marring gunsmithing dish that I have here that I put those other parts in, and we're going to put the slide on there, and we're going to drive out the Ambi the rest of the way. The reason why we started on the right-hand side and why we have this container underneath it is there's a spring and there's a little ball in the other side, and we don't want to lose those because they're really small and they go flying everywhere. So we're going to drive everything out into this bowl so we can capture those. Alrighty, I'll set to the side for the time being. And now we will run to remove the breech block assembly. So on your gun, since you have the rear sight on it still, you'll want to back out the adjustment screw for the windage, back that out, and you'll feel the resistance on it and it'll free up. And once you feel it free up, then that's good enough and you'll be able to remove the breech block assembly. Take notice to how this front part fits on there. When you reinstall it, you'll want to make sure that you hook it on here and that it actually goes there. You can install it underneath and the fitment isn't correct then and nothing will line up. So just make sure that when you reinstall it, you hook it there. So let's remove the breech block assembly at this point. And now we're ready to press the rear sight out and press in the adapter plate. As you can see, on the bottom of our plate, we milled a pocket to allow for clearance for the rear sight adjustment lug on the breech block assembly. Now, I'm not going to do it in this video because we already have a video on how to install one of our adapter plates on a Glock. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Go through that whole procedure, install our mount on there, and then you can come back to this video and I'll show you how to reinstall everything back on the slide. So hopefully you took a minute to check out our other video on how to install the adapter plate, and it's on your slide now. So check out here. We want to make sure that that notch is lined up with the hole cut in the slide, and if everything looks like it's pretty lined up like it does here, let's install that breech block. You have to be careful with the breech block because this part gets removed along with the spring, so we want to make sure that that doesn't fall out. So I'm going to hold everything upright and I'm going to hook the front and push everything back just like so. Now I'm going to install the Ambi, which is the trickiest part of this whole process.
And it was at this exact moment, Al realized what had just happened in post-production after he said the word tricky. All he could do was shake it off.
What I do is I pick up the Ambi, and as you can see on the left side of it, there's a little spring in there and a little hole. I I take a little Q-tip with some grease, and I'll apply a little bit of grease to that area to help keep the ball in place. Then you can pick up your ball and pop that on there. Next, pick up your slide, and you want to keep a little bit of pressure on the breech block assembly, that way it doesn't go flying and moving out of place on you. And there's two different notches in the slide here. I aim for the bottom one to try to line the ball up with. So let's insert the Ambi. And get it in place. And I'm going to put a little bit of pressure down on the Ambi, and then I'm going to take my 10/8 tool and push the ball into the spring, and then click the safety right into place. After that's in place, flip it over. There's a flat on part of it, and line up the flat with the paddle. Click it in place, and start threading the screw in. If you tighten the screw up too much, it's going to be very difficult to operate the safety, so just keep that in mind. You want it to be tight enough that it doesn't come loose on you, but if you over torque it, you'll know, because this won't operate nice and easy like so. Now I'm ready to put the slide back on the gun. I install the guide rod assembly, and then line that up with the hole in the slide. Really chase this one up. And then make sure you get your barrel lined up and slide it on back. It'll click into place. On this one, I have to push down on the hammer a little bit to get the slide to go forward. And after the slide goes home, spin the takedown back in place, decock it, and you're good to go. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our videos. Don't forget to like us, comment on our videos, subscribe. We're on Facebook, Instagram, so feel free to reach out. And if there's any new products that we don't carry that you want to see us make sure to let us know. See you next time. Hey everybody!
Hey everybody!
Hey everybody!